again, welcome back to another show. Today I'm going to talk about Green Knight, the new film by David Lowery, starring Dev Patel, all based on the Arthurian legend of the Green Knight. And it's a wonderful film. It's just so wonderful. Now, it has been delayed repeatedly in the UK, but if you have a VPN, you can find a way around that. It's available on streaming in a lot of different countries. If you're inventive, you can see it. It's got to the point now where it's like not releasing this film, even like in streaming now in Britain, seems stupid because everybody who wants to see it will have found a way to see it by now. It really is. It's like if you can't release it in cinemas, you have to release it in some way because every other country is now. It's like and half your audience will have seen it before you even release it, so they distribute it here. Really, they've got a problem. I mean, it reminds me a lot of Hellboy. When Hellboy was released, we got like 6 months after everyone else. And by the time they came out here, it didn't do very well because everyone who wanted to see it already had it in DVD from imports. It's that kind of thing. So, I know what I did. So, The Green Knight. The Green Knight is just a wonderful film. And it's definitely something, as soon as it hits like Blu-ray or 4K, I'm definitely buying it. It's when you have in disc. I mean, there's certain films you can just have in streaming, it's fine, but that's what I really want in disc because it's so beautiful to look at, it's so haunted, and it's a hard one to talk about because I know I can't go into it's a non-spoiler one, even though it's based on an old myth. I've tried to talk about it without spoiling everything so you can enjoy the film. So it's going to be a non-spoiler thing. I mean, maybe in years to come I might do another video that's a bit more in detail, but this one I'm trying to avoid spoilers just so you can watch the film and have some surprises. So, it is based on the myth of the Green Knight and the knight who challenges him and decapitates him and is told, in a year's time, the blow that you gave me, I'll return to you. You have to travel far to this place, it's called the Green Monastery, that you have to travel to receive the blow as a way to test yourself and also to live up to your bargain, because do you want to be a man of honour or not? So Dev Patel plays a knight who did the blow to impress his uncle, who was King Arthur, played by Sean Harris, and a great performance. He's not in it very much, but like a lot of actors in this film, they make their time count. It's like apart from Dev Patel, everyone else has like about 10 minutes max in this film, really. But it counts, everything they do counts. So it doesn't matter, it's like it's an anthology film where each moment encounters different people, and those moments basically give you a feeling of the character. So it is a kind of Heart of Darkness journey, really. You know, like it's just this episodic journey to hell, which you can pretty much guess from the trailers. But it's got a far different outcome from Heart of Darkness. So it's going in a different direction, but the structure's kind of similar. Where it's kind of like it's sort of an adventure story, but it's not really an adventure story. It's a horror story of a kind. Well, this one is a dark fantasy story. Now, the racial thing in the film is really well done because you don't care, ultimately. I mean, Dev Patel's not a pale face, basically, like most of the cast. He's not that white. He's Indian. But it doesn't matter because the idea is him, there's a link in the family that is from a foreign country, probably is from the Moors, really, who have come over here and are now part of obviously helped King Arthur in his rise to power, and have them been married into the family, and it doesn't matter, it's just like, they all know him, so it's just a case of, just like any other immigrant, once people know him, no one cares. It's like, and that's a really good way to do it, so no one ever talks about it, and you don't care. After about 10 minutes, you don't care at all. It's just another interesting little touch in this environment, and does not matter. Like, at all. Most of the people are still basically historically like what you've heard of, and there's always been like small patches of immigrants coming through to Britain anyway, so it doesn't really make you think, oh god, that's weird. That's just the story. That's who the cast works fine. Nobody comments, and it works perfectly well. Plus the fact that he's such a good actor really sells it, because you need someone who's got the initial cockiness, but also has got the self doubt, and he's perfectly cast. I mean, it's one of those things you can't imagine anyone else playing this part once you've seen him do it, because he understands the part, and he's got the right balance of like initial arrogance, initial fear, initial need to be approved, and then further on the need to prove himself to be honourable. And it's like, what's honour to this person? What does it actually mean to him? Is the kind of crux of the film, and it's a very internal performance, and that's why he's so well cast, because he knows the internal aspects of the character. That's what this film needs, is someone who can portray that. Because you can do every other stuff, but you don't portray the internal feeling of self-doubt and quietness mixed with the need to try and prove yourself, and be watchful of everything. It wouldn't work. It needs a specific type of actor to really pull this off. And he really works. He's a really good supporting cast. As I said, Sean Harris as the king, Kate Dickie as his queen. You've got I'm going blank. Alicia Vikander as two different parts that seem to be kind of linked but not. It's weird. As something I'm not going to explain. You need to see the film. It's like, she's very good, but saying too much about her part will ruin the film. You've got a variety. You've got Barry Keno as this sort of dodgy character you see early on. There's a ghostly character at the midpoint. That's as far as I'm going to go into the plot, because I don't want to ruin it. But there's a lot of good actors. There's another one who comes up later. You might see the trailers. But I'm not going to explain him either, because it's like, it's very good, but I don't want to ruin anything. But it's a really interesting world, because it's stylized to a degree, because it's a myth. They're telling a mythic's tale, and they know that, and this film's obviously been influenced by Excalibur, but also just the myths. And to actually say it's in that kind of same level as Excalibur is a lot for me, because I adore Excalibur. I don't think it's as good as Excalibur, but it's almost there. To me, that's a big, big compliment. But what it also brings to the story is a sense of myth, the sense of the importance of the myth, the sense of the importance in this world of the supernatural, the stories. This is like King Arthur after he's had all his adventures. Like, he's done all this stuff. He's defeated it. There's a seat at the side of his throne for an unknown person, which is obviously the son he killed, who was his incestuous son. There's no Lancelot, because Lancelot's gone. There's this sense of the world has gone through hell. They went through the search of the Holy Grail, and this is a post-Holy Grail search world where everything's dark. There's been wars. There's been like epic wars. I mean, they go through. The knight goes through the guy who's tried by night, or at least character who's trying by night, goes through this battlefield where there's lots of bodies, and they don't explain what the fight was about. That it feels very normal. That a lot of people have suffered through these years of different people attacking, and a lot of defences, and a lot of people have died, and a lot of people are scavenging now, and this has not been a healthy environment for anybody. So even though the myths have happened, there's been a lot of tragedy, and there's this sense the whole world's like that. Everyone's dealing with damage, everyone's been damaged by the world, everyone's been destroyed by lots of horrible things, and everyone, even though you're living in Camelot, most of it is just people sitting in rooms being a bit depressed because they've survived hell, and it's like, what else is there? It's like, it's a very kind of interior, depressed world that this guy's trying to prove himself as worth everything, because he's the next generation. He feels he needs to prove himself to be someone of importance, even though he sometimes acts like a teenager, and also he's not quite sure how to do it. He's really unsure how to. He's obviously been brought up as like the the nephew that no one paid attention to, and now suddenly the king's heir is gone. It's like, well, he's now the important one, so we have to deal with him. You know, it's that thing. It's like he wasn't important, now he is, and now he has to try to improve himself, and it becomes this thing that it's a dynamic through the film. I mean, it's established really early on. It becomes this thing, this threat, and the threat always internal. I mean, even though he has to go and deal with the Green Knight, it does always feel like it's everything's tied to his sense of worth. But the good thing the film is, it really treats the myth seriously, and it treats the idea of ghosts and all these people dealing with loss and a lot of mythological things as something that's tangible to this world. It's something that's there. You have to deal with it. You can't escape it. It's there. And it's part of your way of dealing with the world. To you, it's natural. That's just the way the world is. So this is a wonderful film. It really delivers on the myth. It really delivers on the combining the myth with the psychology of the character and the psychology of the characters around about him. In some ways, how it can be harsh. Some ways, how it can be a wonderful place to be if you're a younger person who's trying to prove themselves. But it's also how harsh it can be to you as well, and how difficult, because everyone else is so tired, is so burnt out. They've had their adventures. It becomes this sense of a world that needs to be reinvigorated by somebody worthy who can come and give it a new lease of life. And the kind of suggestion of the story is he going to be that, or is he going to be so brought down by the past that he can't escape the past? So that becomes the tension throughout, and as he sees all these different people, they've all been defined by the past of the land, the past of the Arthurian legends, of the world, of this mythical world. It's like, is he going to go beyond that, or is he defined by that? That's kind of the thing that's floating through it. Again, the racial thing kind of works interestingly because he's obviously an outsider, just visually he's an outsider. So it's a creation of, okay, is the world going to keep going this way, or is it going to go in this other direction? Which is an interesting theme, and it, again, just because the cast and Dev Patel, it makes it work, even in a way that's not, doesn't have to be stated, it's just there. It just works. Because they respect the power of the image and the power of a person going through this landscape, who's looks a bit different from everyone else. That's like a powerful feel to it. It creates this sense of things are changing, but they're going to change enough, and it becomes this theme, this image that always appears as something that's like a powerful kind of breakthrough of our sense of old myth, our sense of old culture. But it's never overstated, and it's never like they never do the evil white men thing. It's just like everyone's struggling, everyone's broken. It's like everyone's trying to push forward and try and be the best person they can be in this world. It's just like it's just a sense of, is the world going to change, or is it going to just stay the same? So this is a wonderful film. This is just so good. Again, I've tried to avoid spoilers because part of the enjoyment is just seeing how the film develops. Cause the second half is really wonderful, but you need to it is a kind of measured pace, so you need to actually have patience. But it delivers. If you give it the patience, it really delivers. It's just like it knows it cannot go too fast. It has to quietly set up everything, and it slowly accumulates pace as it goes. But you need to understand it's going at its own pace. It's not going to try and change its pace just to suit you. So I would highly recommend seeing The Green Knight wherever way you can. It is just so good, and then buy it when it comes out in Blu-ray, 4K, whatever, because it is really worth it. It's really wonderful. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and we're back with another one very soon. Right, bye for now.